Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this informational session on our Georgetown Law Health Law LL.M program. We are joined by our wonderful alumni that are going to share their personal journeys and stories with you today. And we invite you all to ask lots of questions. Please drop in the chat where you're joining us from. And thank you so much for making the time. To get us started, I'm going to introduce our Faculty Director, Dr. Michelle Goodwin. Dr. Goodwin is the Linda D. and Timothy J. O'Neill Professor of Constitutional Law and Global Health Policy. She's not only the faculty director, but was a pioneering founder and director of the Center for Biotechnology and Global Health Policy at UC Irvine. I will hand over to you, Dr. Goodwin, just to welcome our audience and to open up the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Basha. It is a pleasure to be with you all and to be with our very distinguished alumni who are just have made such a difference around the world. What we're committed to at the O'Neill Institute is the protection and the promotion of health. And that couldn't be more critical in these times. Our work has been extensive. It's been local, national, and global. We're so proud of our alumni who've joined us from myriad countries around the world. More than 30 countries in representation are our alumni. And we began doing this work at a time in which the thought of protecting health and defending it and advancing it was not necessarily something that governments were invested in, including in the United States. We began doing this work before there was an Affordable Care Act. We began doing this work before there was even something that was really considered a health law profession. But now here we are, and some of the most critical issues all around the world affect health, whether we are talking about matters of biotechnology, bioethics. We're talking about something like COVID, Zika, Ebola, H1N1. We are all tethered together. And I think that that is a critical point that I want to share before I pass the baton back over to Professor Basha, which is that we are a global community that is connected. There is no way that we are not. We know that we've been connected for millennia, and if anything, in just recent months, what COVID reminded us of is that we are a global community, and that means the health challenges of one place becomes the health challenges perhaps of many different places. But it also means opportunity and hope, because it means what is discovered, what is researched, what is invested in, the policies that change, the policies that advance are also linked. And that is a sign of hope for us all, that we are part of a global community where, in fact, challenges may take place, but it also means that innovations take place too. And we all benefit from that as well. So much that I would want to share with you, and I can't wait to see you when you come here. And that is really what we want. But I'm going to turn this over to Professor Basha to really get us started today. Thank you for joining us for this webinar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Goodwin, for those heartening words. Indeed, we need more global health lawyers in the world today to be able to help us tackle some of the many challenges that we are facing. So I have some global health lawyers today joining me from around the world, from different parts of the world, who are going to share some of their experiences and what it is that drew them to Georgetown's Health Law program, the #1 rated program in the world. So I'm going to turn it over first in order to Daniel, Yimei, Ellen, and Erica to introduce yourself and tell us what it is that drew you to our health law program. Over to you, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Professor Goodwin and Professor Basha, for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here. I'm Daniel Dorado Torres. I am originally from Colombia and have been living the past 10 years in Ecuador, Latin America. Well, I have been in the global health community for around 10 years, and I recently graduated from the LLM program back in May. So I could say that from the colleagues that are here, I'm one of the newest LLMs out there. But this doesn't mean that I have not been aware of the program for a while. And this is the message that basically I want to share with all of you. The program and the O'Neill Institute has been doing an amazing job back since 2007. And I have the privilege to be involved in some of the amazing work that the O'Neill Institute, primarily the Center for Human Rights, have been doing in supporting several health topics. But the topic that I follow more closely is tobacco control and non-communicable diseases. Today, I have the honor to lead an NGO campaign. The name of the organization is Corporate Accountability. I direct the tobacco control campaign. And I have been involved in the tobacco control movement for the past 10 years. So you can start making the connection how I get connected with the O'Neill Institute to be aware of the program. One of the amazing things that the O'Neill and the program do is that they do not only promote the program all over the world, but they collaborate closely with many global health lawyers, particularly in my home country in Colombia, when the tobacco control bill was being discussed and approved, and then was sued by the tobacco industry at the Constitutional Court. So I was involved in some of the amicus curiae that the O'Neill Institute was provided and the assistance that was seeking. And after that, I have the chance to be invited to several Latin American tobacco control lawyers workshops that took place like every 1 or 2 years. And every time I say, at some point, I should be able to at least encourage and apply to the program. I recall having some conversations with other of the stellar professors of the program, Professor Oscar Cabrera. He constantly is all over the world motivating students to join the program, and also he made that invitation to me at some point. But mostly, another thing that I want to share, and probably I will talk about this in a second, and with this I will be closing my intervention. I feel compelled to apply to the Belén Ríos Health and Human Rights Scholarship. Belén Ríos was a strong advocate of global health, but also was a former alumni of the program. She was a close friend of mine. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years ago. And Belén was also one of the persons that always was saying, you at some point should be joining the program. You have the skills, your voice. And I feel that that's something, this program, besides the community, allows to strengthen several skills, despite if you are an early attorney, or if you have been able to, I could define myself as in the midterm of my career, and definitely has marked a difference. The tobacco pandemic kills more than 8 people a year. So I feel compelled that the program will strengthen my skills and will provide me other practical and multi-professional skills to be able to apply it when I attend the international negotiations of the Global Tobacco Treaty, when I participate in the discussions with legislators in several countries in Latin America and in other parts of the world. But beyond that, as Professor Woodward was saying, to bring humanity at this point of the global health discussion, because I also feel that this is an important component that the program brings, is to you bring your own values also, and know that with the skills that you have, you can contribute to make a difference. I will keep it there for the moment, Professor.
Thank you so much. And over to you, Yimei, all the way from Singapore.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning and good evening to participants from Asia, from Singapore and China. So my name is Yimei. I'm from China. I joined the Global Health Law program I finished in 2022, and now I work a research associate in Duke US Medical School, Center for Outbreak Preparedness. So we sit in Singapore, and here we work with a very interesting interdisciplinary group of experts. For our legal work stream, we do several very interesting and meaningful things. One is that we do a lot of country scoping and research. Another thing is that we do capacity building, which means that we want to train the ASEAN countries' lawyers to do the pathogen access, and I'm not sure everyone is familiar with the concept, but it's called pathogen access and benefit sharing. So we work on pathogen access data sharing, and we align with the WHO pandemic treaty negotiation. So this is one thing we do. The other thing we do is also in our own team, we provide the technical training or support to other work streams to make sure that other scientific programs also embed the ethical and legal considerations from the very beginning. So this is what we do in Singapore. And if you ask me the reason why I joined Global Health Law, it's quite interesting. I don't have a really long story because at that time I'm doing my master's degree of human rights law in China, my Chinese law school, which is called China University of Political Science and Law. And this is a cooperation scholarship between my Chinese University and Georgetown Law. And if you get to get this scholarship, you come here to learn the Global Health Law program. So I would say somehow it's like destiny bring me here. But I tell everyone this is after really like get the idea of what global health law is about. And as a very special moment of COVID-19, me as a Chinese student going to United States, learning about pandemic preparedness and response, that turned out to be my biggest passion. So I'm very lucky to be joining at that moment and still working on this work on this direction right now. Over to you, Sarah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Yimei. And over to you, Alan.
Thank you so much, Professor Goodwin, Professor Bosha, and my other colleagues who have been part of this important LLM. I am Alan Maleche. I am based in Nairobi, Kenya, and I serve as the Executive Director of KELIN. KELIN is a health and human rights organization in Kenya that uses law, policy, and advocacy to advance the right to health. I chose Georgetown Law because it offered the perfect balance between classroom learning and practical exposure. As someone who was already working in advocacy and litigation, I wanted a program that just didn't teach global health or global health law theoretically, but showed how it operates in real-world settings. And so Georgetown, through the O'Neill Institute, really provides that. And just like Daniel, I had earlier interactions with various team members working on issues around tuberculosis and the law, working on issues around healthy diet, working on issues around HIV and the law, and working around issues of sexual reproductive health. So I'd already engaged with some of the faculty. I knew their ability to do their work. I knew about their collaborative ways of working with people from the global south. And so I knew it was the right place to be. And I think what I would add to my introduction and just quickly put it out here is, if you're an African student and you're in this call, particularly the exposure to global institutions and the chance to directly engage with special rapporteurs. I engaged with a current special rapporteur for health. I had a lecturer who was the former special rapporteur of health. We had interaction with judges and practitioners whose work we had often cited. I think that's really invaluable. As I said, I had worked with many of these people before, but hearing them teach, having debates with them in class, reflecting on their decisions, occasionally challenging their decisions and their thinking, brought a new level of understanding and inspiration for me while I was at the school. Back to you, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that intervention, Alan. And finally, last but certainly not least, over to Erica to share your own experience and journey with O'Neill and Georgetown Law's Health Law program.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Erica. I'm a research scholar at the University of Houston Law Center, working towards becoming a tenure track professor. So someone like Michelle Goodwin. I got started in global health law when I was in law school at Notre Dame Law. My mentor at Notre Dame, Diane DeCierto, got me interested in health law through working on treaties, working on research with her, and just working on classes that could be taught at my former law school. And so that's kind of how I got interested in global health law. I actually was first going to do a master's in global health, but Sarah Bosha came in like a wrecking ball and really shook up my world and helped me realize that the best way for me to succeed and to get to where I wanted to be was to be at Georgetown. And I will never, never be able to thank her enough, because my time at Georgetown was phenomenal. I've had so many opportunities that came from Georgetown. And honestly, there's two things that I would say to anyone who's thinking about this. One, always ask for money. And two, always ask for the opportunity. You don't have to have the opportunity be something that's a formal application. You don't have to wait for that opportunity to come to your door. Go knocking for those opportunities because those opportunities are plentiful and vast. And honestly, a lot of people really do appreciate you just going after it yourself, because it shows your desire and it shows how much it means to you and how much you're going to work for that. And so that was my experience at Georgetown. I've had so many opportunities that I'm very grateful for and have shaped me into a better attorney now that I'm gone. Sarah.
Great. Thank you so much. Hearing all of those buzz phrases, I think really represents who we are at O'Neill and Georgetown Law community. Whether you're mid-career, early career, this is really the program to help you advance and move forward and join the cohort of folks that are helping to advance health equity around the world. Connection with theory and practice is something that also came across. But I want to say to people, it's also being in a global classroom, and I hope this webinar shows that for you. So continuing down this sort of asking the reflections of our alumni, I'm going to start with you, Alan. How do you think this LLM positioned you for your leadership role? How did it advance your career growth? Can you share a little bit about what impact there was after you had studied?
So I came into this role, or rather I came into this program as someone who had worked for quite long in the global health sector. So it was a strange transition for me from someone who gives direction in an organization to sitting in a class and having to write footnotes and do readings on time and be able to not be a master of my time, but follow things. So it was a shift for me from someone who had been active advocacy, civil society work, to working across a classroom, handing in assignments, having to be in group works. And so I think for me, it was a transformative leadership journey, but not just as academically, but also how it helped me grow as a connector and a bridge builder, because as you said, we had different levels of students. There are those who had work experience, there are those who are fresh from law school, there are those who are in mid-careers. And so for me, I then found a way to connect with everyone, to learn from those who are coming in and show them how it happens practically in the real world, but also to learn from them, especially the US-based students, on how to do footnotes and how to put them in American citations, because that's a new strange thing that happens. So there are ways I learned how to connect and learn from my colleagues and from different parts of the world, Asia, Africa, Latin America, the North American. So there was a very good connection and blend. And I think for me, what particularly stood out is during my time at Georgetown, I had the privilege of working with colleagues both from the main law school or the JD program to reviving the Georgetown African Law Society, which I'm now told has become a vibrant space for dialogue among African and global students on the campus. And I think for me, it taught me how to be able to be very collective. And then I think for me, the leadership also grew in terms of being in DC academy spaces to interact with other work colleagues from PEPFAR, from Friends of the Global Fight, from the Global Health Tobacco Initiative. So it gave an opportunity to be able to reposition myself and learn how to operate as a student, but do it in a way that allowed me to connect with my other classmates, but also allowed me to connect with the professors, some who are already colleagues, but now professors, and also connect to the broader Georgetown environment in global health, which is very rich and very well connected. So, and yeah, finally also connecting with students through the Student Association, because it meant you had to meet the Asian Students Association, you had to meet the Latin American Student Association, and find linkages, bonds, and ways to work and partner together in terms of taking work forward. So different expectation in terms of leadership, but definitely fulfilling for me. Back to you, Sarah.
Wonderful. Yime, you talked a little bit about how you had a much deeper understanding of global health while you were at Georgetown. Now, how did the experience prepare you for a career in global health security, which I think is one of the most exciting and fast-paced careers at the moment in the field?
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, as I mentioned, I think I'm very lucky enough to be able to directly go to a career that ask me to, require me and allow me to exercise what I've learned from law school, from the Global Health Law program. So I think in terms of this question, maybe I have two sort of answers. One is for sure the knowledge and the methods, because yeah, I think as at my time, global health law is quite a new topic for me, for Asian students. But right now, after COVID-19, after WHO has a pandemic treaty, everybody know about it. Everybody want to know what's new about WHO. Everybody want to know what's going on in the global health law field. So from my perspective, I've learned that people are more and more interested in this field, and for sure it gives me a lot of experience and knowledge. One thing is that I can give example that so far, as I mentioned, we have the legal lab in our institution, which is because we serve for the ASEAN region. So we want to train these regional partners. They may from lab, they may from the policy level. We want to train them to equip them with a pathogen access and benefit sharing framework, just to solve the issue of equity sharing and benefit sharing. So we want to get them used to this idea of a pathogen access benefit sharing. And from interacting with them, we also get more ideas about their pinpoint and bottleneck of dealing with kind of legal instruments like a material transfer agreement, research collaboration agreement. So we have been doing this kind of legal life in several countries, including Singapore. And in this kind of legal lab, we use directly the simulation. I've learned from class from Global Health Law program. We do the after action reports, these kind of methods. And you see people really enjoying it, and people learn things, people are excited, and they are really bring this kind of legal knowledge into their daily use, into their scientific collaboration. So I would say, yeah, for sure, these things I get from law school directly help me to, equip me to do my daily work. That's one thing. The other thing I want to say is more about, I would say, confidence and network and long-term mentorship. Um, I've lucky enough to have a lot of people to help me and support me during my 1 year in global health law. It's quite short, but there was so many people there to help me. And I wanna bring Sarah in this topic because I remember exactly after graduation when I was a little bit lost in finding an internship. I just emailed Sarah, and Sarah didn't not only reply my email, but she immediately set up a call. She walked me through all the action points, all the things I can think about. And yeah, that's very, very important for me, that time to feel courage and given the confidence to move forward. And several days ago, we still keep in touch, and several time ago, we're talking about this webinar, and I was like, oh, Sarah, I want to build up legal expert working group for the ASEAN country lawyers who are working on patient access, benefit sharing, or legal regulation. Sarah immediately doing some like a brainstorming with me, and I feel like this is something very, very rare in a law school, that the faculty and the members and the all new institution people, they do not only advise you once, they keep showing up, they work by your side, and I think that's very rare for any law school, and that's something very, very valuable. That's it.
Thank you so much, Ime. And over to you, Erica. How do you think that this education in your time at Georgetown, particularly also your connection to O'Neill while you were studying, helped prepare you for this career you're now building in academia?
It's actually the reason I was interested in academia. I was told when I was younger that I would be a great teacher, and I laughed in that teacher's face and said, absolutely not. But once I got to Georgetown, I fell in love with continuing to do academics. Maybe it wasn't fully the student part, but I realized how much I love to research, how much I love to write. And when I was building connections and networks with the international students, I really enjoyed doing some of the stuff that Alan was talking about, which is helping with footnotes, or helping with pronunciation, or, proofreading stuff for other people. It really brought me joy to do those things and to explain concepts that others weren't understanding. And that's what really Georgetown gave me the chance to do. Georgetown gave me the chance to figure out who I was as a budding attorney and gave me the chance to figure out what directions I may and may not want to go with my health law journey. I did some work at O'Neill on HIV, and I'm going to tell you, I didn't particularly enjoy HIV work, but I did really enjoy my mentorship from my supervisor there, who was really helpful in pointing me in directions of where to go to kind of get into academia. Every professor that I talked to, yourself included, was very helpful in pointing me into directions of people that can answer questions or answering more questions that I had. And so that was really a great aspect of O'Neill and Georgetown. Um, and O'Neill will always have a special place in my heart because it allowed me to publish for the first time. I never got a chance to really write something and have it published before, and O'Neill allowed me to do that. And I think that's also another reason I really wanted to become a professor.
Great. Thank you so much. And those are some opportunities that you get, right, as someone who is a student at Georgetown Law, but interacting with O'Neill is this opportunity to hone your writing skills and the platform to be able to publish. And then Daniel, what do you think was the most valuable experience for you while you were studying at Georgetown's Health Law program?
Well, thanks for the question, Professor Sarah. As Alan, I could say that personally for me was like moving me out of my comfort zone, and that's how I approached to the program. Since I was, as I have already mentioned, very connected with non-communicable disease topics and tobacco control, I pushed myself hard to be involved in other areas. And I feel not only the program that the faculty offers gives you that options, also university itself. For example, I was able to be a fellowship of the Global Health Institute program. That was an amazing experience because you have the opportunity to interact and interchange with several other programs that are involved in with health in general. So it was an amazing cohort of more than 12 fellowships that we were there. So it was a total learning experience. Secondly, while I was doing the program, I was chosen to be part of an expert group of the Global Tobacco Treaty in liability. And I was doubting on accepting or not because the program itself was already demanding to assume another big responsibility while I was pursuing. But I could say the program offers you and encourages you to succeed in the goals that you have, even if they overlap with the time of the program. So I remember myself also talking with Professor Boscia. And also the program gives me the opportunity because part of the task of this expert group was to connect with other global experts. So I was in one of the places that absolutely could put me in touch with global lawyers in liability, and Professor Goodwin and Professor Gonstein were very generous in suggesting me, and basically them texting the emails to the other experts saying, I have this student from the program that is being appointed in a WHO expert group. He will be, he's really willing that you can connect with them. So, and with this I will end. I feel that the program reminds me that the learning-ship experience, you need to be humble, to rethink, and being able to not only recognize that you bring experience to the program, and the program recognize that you bring experience, as Alan was saying. For me was at the beginning something I could say that a strange experience, because in Latin America it's not usual that postgraduate programs you have the opportunity to have classes with JD students. This not happens in my home country, for example, but every student in each class that you are involved gives a lot of expertise and perspectives that right now I could say that it's not that you hold the last word, that you always need to come be prepared with arguments, with strong arguments. The program challenges you to think in many ways to present your arguments. I recall the exercise Professor Boscia leads the global health law of the classes that I keep in my heart, because it's one of those few classes that you can share with all of your fellow colleagues from the program, being in one place. And we were challenged to think in an international instrument that connects climate with health, and if there is a need for developing a convention on this topic. So definitely was great to be, and the majority of my professional career has been in NGO. So I got the challenge to think from another perspective, and definitely that right now that I came back to the job has refreshed the ways that I approach to the topics and the way that I engage with government officials in the day-to-day work.
Thank you for that, Daniel. And for our audience, please feel free to drop in your questions in the Q&A box. Even if you have direct questions to our panelists, they are ready to respond to you. So the last question for all of my panelists before I go into the presentation on the nuts and bolts of the program itself. In one sentence, what would be your pitch if you're advising someone to attend Georgetown Health Law program? They're considering it, they're on the fence. What's the winning pitch? Yimei, what would you say?
That's a good question. Can I ask someone else to take it first? I want to take my time to think about it.
Absolutely. Erica, what's your response? And then we can end with you, Yimei.
That's so funny. I was like, I have the perfect response to this. I think I would say that Georgetown is the crossroads and it's the heartbeat of global health law when it comes to the not just the U.S. Educational system, but also I believe in the international space as well. You have everyone who's anyone and who's not anyone that's trying to get there to speak, to tell the students something about what they do, to get students to join their programs or to join their organizations or institutions. So Georgetown is the heartbeat. O'Neill is the heartbeat of global health law.
Wonderful. Over to you, Ellen, since you've come on camera.
I think Erica has set the bar too high, so I will follow through slowly, and I think my one sentence or intervention would be, come to Georgetown or the O'Neill Institute with purpose. It's not just a place to study, but a space to grow, build lifelong networks, and transform how you think and lead in health and human rights.
Wonderful. Daniel, over to you. What's your pitch?
Well, I could say that even if you are an early career, a midterm career, or a already well-experienced professional, this program opens the doors to all of the different types of knowledge from the different types of latitudes: Latin America, Africa, Asia, North America, and everyone has a voice, and opens the door for come with humility and make a difference to the world. And finally, if you are here, the good thing is that they will not leave you go away. They will always find a way to bring you here, as we are here today, and this program is for life. It's something that will keep you strengthening, and honestly, you will be losing such a good opportunity in terms of, because of thinking, should I will be admitted to the program? Just do it, try it and see what happens. The program will guide you and will give you the tools to succeed.
Great, wonderful. Yimei, we're back to you. What's your pitch?
Yeah. So I would say after sometimes thinking about it, I would say it's a niche area, it's a fun area, it's a very interesting area. And if you join, very quick example, last year we hired our consultant to work with us, which is also O'Neill alumni. I would say joining us and you'll be part of us and you constantly work with us, and that's fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to all our panelists. We're going to move now into the section of the presentation, but I want to highlight one big thing, that when you join this program, it's more than an academic pursuit. It's an opportunity for you to develop your career. It's also an opportunity for you to join a community that will carry you even after you've graduated. So with those words, I'm going to switch over and just give a very basic nuts and bolts presentation of our program. And please feel free to add any questions that you may have in the chat box, whether it's for me or it is for our panelists that are here. Okay. So I want to start by introducing the O'Neill Institute, because really the O'Neill Institute is going to be your home while you're here studying at Georgetown Law. It was founded in 2007 with the goal, of course, of increasing research on global health law, helping to advance policy and legal reform. We have over 30 experts, researchers, scholars that work in critical areas that include healthy food environments, tobacco control, as you've heard, infectious diseases. We also are at the cutting edge of global health policy making and have hosted Lancet commissions. We've supported technical support for the pandemic agreement that is still ongoing. And also we provide technical support directly to governments and regional institutions. We are the only WHO collaborating center in the world. And so the O'Neill Institute works directly to support to provide technical support to the WHO and also to the Pan American Health Organization around their different mandates and their objectives. And we also, of course, strengthen capacity here in the USA. So I think that's something that's really important for folks that are looking for an experience that helps them have that early connection with the WHO, early connection with global health institutions. Many of our experts interact with these institutions and work with them directly. Just a few facts about Georgetown University as a school itself. We are ranked in the top 14 schools in the US. We are ranked #1 in this particular LLM program of all the health and medical law programs in the world. And we also ranked in the top 10 for the US health law schools. We have world-class scholars, as you've heard, individuals like Dr. Goodwin, Professor Gostin. We also have past special rapporteurs that come and speak to us and teach our students. And so we have a number of experts that you will learn from that are not only speaking from textbook knowledge, but from practical experience that really makes a difference in the classroom. And in addition to that, you are going to be in a global classroom. As you've seen, this is just a snapshot of the types of alumni that come from different parts of the world. When you are sitting in the classroom, you're sitting in your own United Nations, and you're able not only to then have that comparative experience, but to learn also from your fellow cohort members and to build a global connection that will aid you in your future going forward. So introducing the health law programs themselves directly. We have 2 flagship degrees, the LLM in National and Global Health Law and the LLM in Global Health Law and Governance. Many of our students choose to also take on certificate programs alongside their study for the LLM programs. So if you, for example, want to specialize even more in international human rights, you can take on that certificate while you are studying your LLM, or you can take on a certificate in World Trade Organization studies. You won't spend more time to earn the certificate, but you will select certain courses that will help you to then graduate with the LLM and the certificate as a tack-on. These are usually very useful qualifications and credentials when you're looking to advance your career or you're looking for specific opportunities. This can help you stand out a little bit more and is something that we offer to our enrolled students at no extra cost. To talk about the LLM in National and Global Health Law, this is a full academic year where students are based in DC. So your fall and your spring semester, you are exclusively in Washington, DC. For our students that are coming from outside the US or for whom English is a second language, we do make sure that we provide you with year-long access to English language structured programming during the course of your study. This really helps to level out the playing field and to make sure that you are able to not only keep up, but keep going and reach your best sort of academic level of success. And for many, it's also a good way to learn a little bit about the culture. You know, how can I practice small talk within US context for networking, things like that, and to improve your speaking as well. For those that are interested in some sort of academic, some sort of practical experience that is connected to their academic learning, we often encourage students to pursue an externship in the spring semester, which helps you to have that practical experience of converting everything you're learning in the classroom into a real work experience for credit. We are in the heart of Washington, D.C., 10 minutes away from the Capitol building. There are a number of important global health organizations based in DC that are part of the robust Washington, DC health law community that you can be able to connect with while you're studying here. So as you heard some of our alumni say, it wasn't just about being in the classroom, but it was also about the experiences outside of the classroom. Many of these experts also come to give presentations at O'Neill, but also we facilitate opportunities for you to meet and connect with them so that you can also broaden your horizons and expand your networks. We also have a very vibrant health law society at Georgetown Law, which many of our LLM and JD students are a part of, and that's another opportunity and platform that you can use to be able to expand and deepen your knowledge in health law. And just to say, we have been around for a very long time, and we have some of the world's top health law academics and personalities that will be instructing you while you're based in Washington, D.C. during the time of your study. For foreign-trained attorneys who are applying to the program for the National and Global Health Law Program, you have to complete 20 academic credits. 14 of those 20 credits must be health law specialization courses. Now, that then gives you room to add other complementary courses that maybe can help to enhance your own, how you are tailoring your academic experience, but the expertise you want to walk away with when you're done with the LLM program. We only have one required course, which is the Global Health Law course, 2 credits. This allows all of the students in the cohort to be together in the same classroom, what Daniel was referring to. It also is a course that's important to give you a snapshot of the different areas of health law that you could venture into, and can be a good way for you to also decide the kinds of courses you want to take in the spring semester. The way that the course works is that we invite the experts who are doing the work to teach a session on their particular area of expertise, which gives you the best knowledge from that person, but also enables students to use the class to also network with other faculty that are at Georgetown Law and begin to expand and build on their networks. Here are some of the courses that you can take while you're at Georgetown Law: Global Health Security and the Law, Public-Private Partnerships, Nutrition Law and Policy, Biotechnology and the Law, and of course, a course on decolonization, global health and the law. So we have a wide range of courses, over 40 courses that you can choose from. And my role when you come to Georgetown is to sit down with you and help you navigate those amazing opportunities and figure out a way that we would tailor your learning to be able to benefit your career goals. So the externships that some of the students that have participated in the program that I want to share with you, our students have externed at the World Bank, Food and Drug Law Institute, the International Monetary Fund, and Global Health Advocacy Incubator. Many of these institutions are already affiliated or work with O'Neill experts in a number of endeavors. So it does make it quite easy for you to be able to approach them. Also, because of O'Neill's brand within the DC community, any students that are affiliated in any way to O'Neill often have a very easy time securing externships in these institutions. Some students do want to take the New York bar when they are pursuing their LLM studies. You can do that with the National and Global Health Law program because you spend 1 academic year in Washington, D.C., and because, of course, you're only required to do 14 of the health law specialization credits. We do encourage students that want to sit for the New York bar to attend summer experience, just so that you can get some of the courses out of the way that you want to prepare for your qualification for the bar before you start your studies in the fall semester. And then you then can take on the remaining courses and have room for the networking, room to also pick other specialization courses in other areas of interest to you. Summer experience tuition is generally $5,000, and that will cover your tuition for about 4 credits towards the New York bar. And that is held often in July and then in August, just before the semester starts. So for any student that wants to make sure that while they're studying our LLM, they can take the New York bar, my encouragement is for you to do the summer experience, and then you can take the other bar courses during the course of your study. On to the second LLM that we have, which is the LLM in Global Health Law and Governance. This one is our DC-based and then Geneva experience in the spring semester. We have students join us in the fall in Washington, D.C., where all the students together as one cohort will pursue the global health law and other courses that are on campus. And then in January, the students that are doing this particular program will move to Geneva to learn and take classes at the Graduate Institute in Geneva. The Graduate Institute is a very strong partner of ours, is an old school with a lot of influence within Geneva and within Switzerland itself. It was founded in 1927 and is focused on international relations and political science. So for those that are looking to try and focus more intently on global health diplomacy and governance, I would suggest that you would opt for this program. Some of the notable graduates are the CEO, former CEO of Sony Corporation from Japan, and also Kofi Annan was also a graduate of that program. So it's a very strong institution combined with Georgetown Law to be able to give you this unique learning experience. For the students that will go to Geneva, you either pursue an internship at a global health organization while you're in Geneva, or if you don't pursue the internship, you will write a thesis on a topic of interest towards your degree qualification. This is how your structured studying or learning experience will look like when you are doing the Global Health Law and Governance program based in Geneva. You take 12 credits at Georgetown University Law Center in the fall. So 10 specialization credits, and then, of course, the mandatory 2-credit global health law course. And then when you go to Geneva in the spring, you take 39 credits. 24 of those credits must be specialization credits, and there are 2 mandatory courses. I want to explain that it doesn't mean you're going to do more work in Geneva because of the 39 credits. It's just that we allocate different credit values to the courses. And this is what you're really looking at for the Geneva side, is much more of the European structuring of credits, but not to say that somehow there is a higher work burden. Some of the courses that you can take that are related to global health diplomacy and governance, you can take a course on World Trade Organization jurisprudence, managing the global commons, and of course, treaty making in contemporary international society. Maybe before I even go on to the specializations that you would gain, being in Geneva is also really critical for you to network effectively, to be able to be at the heart of a lot of the global health policy making in the world. You know, UN organizations are there, World Trade Organization headquarters and all UN headquarters are also in those particular cities. So both the Washington, D.C. experience and the Washington plus Geneva experience offer a global connection, offer a global learning and close proximity to organizations that you either want to network with or hope to one day gain some work experience from. So after you've studied and after you've, taken all these different courses that we have, what kind of expertise do you think that you would walk away with? So we have a lot of courses around repro rights. There would be expertise in health and tech law, bioethics, food and drug law, international law and governance, just to name a few, and of course, health and human rights as well. So there's a number of specializations that you can walk away with that can either help you to enhance your current role in global health or help you to forge a new path and a new career to an area of interest that you would like to work in. Return on investment is extremely important for us. We want you to have a return on your investment in studying with us, in spending your time and your money with us. And that's why we not only offer a lot of mentorship, but guidance as you are looking for jobs. So here is just a snapshot of where our alumni work, from, organizations like Pfizer, law firms like McDermott, Will and Emery, National University of Singapore, University of Ibadan. Of course, some of our students do stay on also to work at Georgetown Law, and then on to global organizations such as the World Bank and the World Health Organization. So there's a vast network that you can tap into as you're job hunting, but there's also a vast network of individuals that will recognize the name Georgetown Law, recognize the name O'Neill Institute when they see your resume come before them. And so I think that's one of the things that we're extremely proud of, and we want to leverage for you so that, as I say, you get that return on investment of your time and money spent with us, which we also value. We try to strike a balance between you studying and you being able to have a rewarding work-life balance. So one of the things we also do try and do while you're here is we encourage students to apply for research assistant positions, which are paid opportunities for you to be able to work not only with experts at O'Neill, but we have a number of partner organizations that take on our students and help them to get that work experience. So now when you graduate and you are applying for jobs, you're much more competitive, because for those that may never have had international work experience, O'Neill offers you the opportunity and our partners offer you the opportunity. So in addition to that balance of coming in to study and to network, we also try and offer a balance of connection. You're far from home for many of the international students, or even sometimes for students from the US, you're away from your family. We want you to connect. We want to create a community for you. And we want to make sure that your mental wellness and well-being is also optimized and protected so that you can be the best version of yourself in the classroom. So some of the things that we do, I just wanted to share these happy moments and snapshots. When you arrive, absolutely, we're going to make you have a photo shoot so that we can capture your arrival, celebrate your arrival. And so you'll see here to the left of my screen is the picture of the campus. So that's part of the Georgetown Law campus. And this is one of our cohorts on their first day, connecting with each other. We're showing them around campus and we're also taking pictures. And then to the right of my screen is an annual hike and brunch. We have this event to help you relax, to help you connect. And the pictures, the bottom picture on the right is some of our new cohort that came to this hike and brunch that we had at Dr. Goodwin's home. It's a wonderful occasion where we take a walk together and then we come back and break bread together. And right at the top there are some of our alumni that joined us. So if you join the program, really you're joining a family, and we'll continue to reach out to you whenever you're in DC to be a part of this. But what I want to emphasize here is how we try to seamlessly integrate your connection with each other, but also optimizing your academic, your professional, and also your emotional and social well-being while you're studying. So how do you apply for this program? Applications are open now, so we are accepting applications. You fill out an application form, you pay an application fee. It's $90 US if you apply early, and then the price does go up to $100 US if you apply after the priority deadline. Include your resume, your personal statement. Then for those for whom English is not a first language, you do have to submit, or for those who studied their degree in another language that isn't English, you have to submit TOEFL. So your TOEFL must be a minimum of 100, or IELTS, which must be a minimum of 7.5. For students who studied their degree in English, you may be able to apply for a waiver for this TOEFL and IELTS. Then if your documentation for your degree and you've studied it in English and the documentation is in English, then you can apply for a waiver. And then, of course, your transcript and your registrar certification form. I want to talk a little bit about the personal statement, because that, I think, is one of the most important documents for the application. In that personal statement, you're really telling us why you want to do health law, how you think health law studying with us is going to advance your career goals, and you're telling us a little bit about yourself. It can be one of the most compelling parts of your application that also helps us to understand how the program will benefit you, but how you will also add value to the cohort, because the goal is for us to bring together a cohort of individuals that are passionate about health law, that not only derive benefit, but add benefit to the cohort. So I will just leave this up for a few more seconds for you to take a look. And then finally, we can stop here and turn it over to questions. to be able to see what it is that we may answer. So I'm going to turn to the Q&A to see if there's anything else. Okay, any questions from our members, whether you want to put it in the chat, any questions that you have about how to apply, any questions that you have about the program in general. And just to also emphasize that scholarships are available. When you apply, you can put in your request for a scholarship, and you can put in a short statement as a motivation for why you would need funding. Our goal, as I said, is to create a global classroom and to ensure that financial hardship is not a barrier to bringing in the best talent. So I will wait now to just see if there's any questions that are coming from the audience. Okay. I don't see any questions, so I will stop here. And I will just say to the students or to the potential students online, if questions come up after this presentation, this will be recorded and it will be available online. You can feel free to reach out to me or to email us, or any one of our alumni are happy to connect with you and to answer any of the questions that you have. We very much look forward to your application. I hope that many of you have, enjoyed hearing from the alumni, because I think it's one thing to hear the mechanics of the program, and it's another thing to be able to hear from individuals that have been through the program to see what benefit there is there. So if there are no other questions, maybe I will invite our alumni to turn on their cameras so that we can say one last goodbye in these 5 minutes to all our participants, and please let them know if you are interested in them connecting with you, and you can share your email address with them as well.
Sarah, we did have one question. Someone wanted to return back to the New York bar slide again, if you want to quickly re-explain that.
Okay, wonderful.
But
Sorry. Thank you
how
for
about
flagging
we
that.
stop the recording after saying bye and then we'll return to that?
Yes, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so here is the New York bar slide. I'm not sure if there were any additional questions, but just to go over it again a little bit more slowly, there is a July and August learning experience called Summer Experience for all students that are interested in pursuing the New York bar. The cost of that is different from the cost of the LLM program. So for that summer experience held in July and August, where you can do up to 4 credits towards the New York bar, you pay $5,000. So you will come to the US early, you will do some of those courses, and then the remainder of the courses you can incorporate into your learning during the program itself. When you're doing your LLM, you can finish off the rest of the courses. Brandon, I can't really see my chat because of the screen. If there are any questions, do you mind flagging them for me?
Yep, that was it.
Okay. All right. So I will stop here, and I will look forward to receiving applications from everyone. And then, as I said, maybe we can do just a round of folks sharing their email addresses really quickly with the audience, in case people want to reach out directly to you to ask more questions. And you are also free to always reach out to me.
Okay, I'll go first. So this is hopefully being recorded still. My name is Erica Patterson, and my email is EPATTERS@central.UH.edu. And you can find it in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have during your time at Georgetown, after you graduate from Georgetown, and even during the application process, because I did it the old school way and I mailed it. I mailed it in. I'll pass the baton to Daniel.
Thanks, Erica. I just dropped my email. It's Dorado, DORADO, corporateaccountability.org.
Alan and Yimei?
Yeah, hi. I also just dropped my email in the chat box, which is ymei6@nus.edu.sg.
Great. So before I drop my email, I'll have a parting shot and say that thank you for having us, Sarah and Professor Goodwin, and thanks to those who have joined. It's been an honor to share and hope to see more of you join the Georgetown community and carry this spirit of purpose and global engagement forward. I've put in the chat my email address and also my LinkedIn account. Happy for anyone to reach out and connect with me on these issues. Back to you, Professor Bosha.
Great. Thank you to our panelists and thank you to our audience, and our engagement ends here. Thank you, everyone.